goodness. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Looks like TNDM had another sell-off due to news, and I was trying to get the live stream set up. Oh, I'm a little bit frustrated. Let's see. I think we're good. So it looks like one of the competitors for TNDM ended up coming out with some form of is now CE mark certified. So it's two competitors, DXCM and TNDM, are down on the news. Yeah. So overall, one of the competitors of TNDM came out with something, I guess, that's a little bit more relevant within their niche, right? For in the diabetic niche, and overall, it's leading to a really strong push for that specific company and a really strong pullback for the remaining ones, right? So let me go ahead and I'm going to start sharing this just so I could see your guys's screen and stuff like that. So I'm just going to lock in profits here. Let's see. All right, 80. All right, yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's not going too well. Oh, what's going on, Cody? Today's your birthday? Nice. Let's see. Happy birthday, Cody. Thank you again for tuning in and hope you have an amazing day. Let's see. JNEG with a really strong push up, showing a really nice sign of an uptrend. Let's look at /GC. Yep, continuously making higher highs. It's very overextended, so congrats to all those that are in JNEG. JNEG looks like it's definitely showing signs of an uptrend. It's a little bit overextended, but it's looking good. DGAS bouncing off the middle VWAP. Looks like at the direction of /NG, getting rejected by that SMA indicator. So, ooh, TNDM with a solid sell-off once again. So let me do this. Let's see. All right. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Up over 7%. CGG with a really nice bounce. Watch out for the SMA indicator as it might act as a resistance, but yeah, my alert's set for the break above 30. So congrats to all those that are currently trading it. Looks like it's doing very well. All right, so as of right now, /NG is showing signs of it somewhat pulling back, right? It's getting rejected by this SMA indicator, so it makes sense on why then DYAS can bounce and try to push up, right? Margin of profit here isn't huge based on previous patterns, but let's see this. So looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, looking at it trading between the middle and top view up, it looks like it's been showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. And when it comes down to its overall direction, as of right now with /NG, this does look like it's trying to recover, but it's still getting rejected by this SMA indicator. So if it ends up breaking any one of these supports, then that should be in favor of DGAS. So here we go. Let's check it out. You guys see this consolidation that it has slightly at this resistance. The MACD looks decent. The RSI is pointing up. So I don't expect this thing to like be extremely volatile or anything like that, but so Chase, to answer your question of is it not a good idea to buy a stock before pre-market hours and stuff like that, and wanted to buy JNEG yesterday and sell it today in a way, but I don't want to use a day trade. So that wouldn't be called or viewed as a day trade. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make is taking a position in effort to avoid a day trade. Again, you shouldn't care. Like day trades and those forms of restrictions are just that. They're just restrictions. They have nothing to do with the pattern itself. And if you're going to be trading based off of your restrictions or try to not day trade, it's irrelevant to what it is that you are trading. So again, if you're focusing on getting a good deal, making sure that you are getting a good deal and the opportunity cost outweighs the marginal loss, and you saw that it was showing signs of an uptrend and it was in favor for the following day, then that makes sense because there's an actual reason based on a technical or fundamental that you traded whatever it is that you saw value in. But if you're going to trade solely just on your day trade or all that stuff, again, that's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the actual stock itself. And I would completely, like, if you're going to solely take a position to avoid a day trade or get over the PDT rule, then don't trade it. But if you see it because you see value in it and its overall direction is moving up, then that definitely does make much more sense. /GC, definitely showing signs of it being very overextended. It's trying to continue to push up, just, make sense of it that it is a little bit more on the overextended side. So just something that we want to take into consideration. So as long as we continue to see this, and if you cut losses at a break of pattern in between the EMA line and the top VWAP, then that definitely makes sense. So we're getting a lot of consolidation as well with the middle VWAP, stuff like that right here for TNDM. The MACD is still pointing down, so something that we want to take into consideration. But let's see. So I was in TNDM with you, right? So I was in TNDM as of yesterday, and I was in with my 300 shares, and I saw the sell-off. I saw that it was trying to, I'm sorry, I saw the sell-off and I saw that it was trying to recover during pre-market hours, and I've been up since 5 a.m. It was just really upsetting once I saw the news come out. I mean, it was downtrending. It was expected, right, to risk that I took, and that's why my position size was a little bit less. But I think a thing that you want to ask yourself is like, there's news that's causing this negative catalyst on this stock, right? And that news will eventually die out and will become less relevant as long as it doesn't continue to stay relevant, right? So after a matter of time, it makes sense on why TNDM will and can recover. But during the meantime, while you're still holding TNDM, you can't take advantage of any other opportunity. So does it make more sense to, we don't know if TNDM is going to continue to sell off. So does it make more sense to simply, cut losses and get back in when its direction changes and trade something else? Or are you comfortable? Do you still believe in the overall pattern, and do you want to hold it? That's kind of like how I would think about it. Here we go. We're getting a lot of consolidation here. Love that, Mason. That's showing great signs of discipline, so I'm really happy to hear that. So with JNEG itself, I look at / GC. We've talked about this one before, right? So it's super overextended. It's obviously the gold future, right? Showing signs of an uptrend, very overextended, might be due for a pullback. Again, the market opened here around 6:30, so this is all we're going off of. But I would take into consideration how overbought it is before, holding that position for much longer. So TNDM just broke above $38. There we go. The thing that I'm noticing about TNDM as of right now, at least as of right now, it's really doing a really good job trading in between the middle and top VWAP, which it was not doing at all the past couple of days. So something that we want to take into consideration. I like that. That's really good. There we go. Wow, really strong push up. All right. I have default settings on my VWAP indicator. I have nothing special. They're all default settings on mine. So it's not that I configure them for the 1 day 1 minute chart. That's how they're set up. Okay, so yeah, J&J is showing signs now of an uptrend. Just broke above that 140 resistance. It's been doing a really good job with this ascending uptrend pattern. Let's look at the 1 year analysis. Okay, it's reaching a price point, especially as it gets closer to like 142, 145, of it being a little bit more on the overbought side on a 52-week scale. So just something that we might want to take into consideration. But like, what's the margin of profit that it has to offer? About 2 to 3%, so not bad. Ticker symbol PE, still showing signs of an uptrend. Ticker symbol FE, still showing signs of an uptrend. Ticker symbol now is now peaking out. We talked about this one when it was showing signs of a resistance, so I'm going to remove that. CVNA, a lot of consolidation. No signs of an uptrend just yet, so because of that, I'm going to remove it from my watch list. Ticker symbol FNKO, showing signs of a downtrend, potential bounce here. Just going to set my alert here, and it should be under my pending reversals as well. Yeah. very overextended, due for a little bit of a pullback for forward slash NG on the 1 day 1 minute chart. So it makes sense on why it can pull back. So we'll see what happens with today with JNUG if it continues to trade in between the middle and top VWAP, as kind of seems like that's kind of where it's headed. Let's see. Okay, sounds good, Corey. TNDM showing signs of a peak formation again all day yesterday, once, twice, 3 times, just getting rejected by the SMA indicator. So just something that we might want to take into consideration before I'm trying to understand like a good place to buy, a good place to sell. That the SMA indicator all day yesterday is pretty much where it ended up getting rejected. So I think that's a very good indicator to keep a very close eye on for potential break-if pattern or something of that sort. I mean, it's still showing signs of it being like bullish as of right now intraday, but with that rejection on that SMA. Nice. Congrats, Dylan. So is there anything that you guys are watching that is actively trending up intraday that's still a good deal, that's not super overbought? Yeah, I would not trade OG EN. Super overextended, looks like a pump and dump, and on the 1 day 1 minute chart looks like it's already peaking out and selling off, so I wouldn't be too focused on that one. So some of you guys are talking about JDST showing signs of a reversal intraday, especially, right? So there's no question that JNUG is very overextended, due for a pullback. Just wait for the confirmation of a trading between the middle and bottom VWAP, and I think we should be good. So TNDM up $30. Whoop whoop. Okay, so Microsoft is showing signs of an uptrend, but very overextended, due for a pullback. So I wouldn't find this one to be a good deal. Yeah, so some of you guys talked about Chegg. Chegg got rejected by that SMA indicator, kind of like we expected it to. So I would say that this one's more overextended. It completed a majority of its margin all during pre-market hours, and it's actually trending down as the market has opened. So I wouldn't be too focused on this one as of right now. So for those that are like wondering like why I keep going back, I know for a lot of you guys might know what I'm doing, but I'm trading DGAS right now, right? So why am I going back to natural gas? Well, it will do the opposite of whatever natural gas does. And as of right now, I mean, natural gas was showing signs of it being bullish after the market closed yesterday. But ever since the market has opened, it's been struggling to break above this SMA indicator, and there's a lot of consolidation that's happening right now. And if this thing continues to go down, then that means that that's in favor of DGAS. And right now, there's a pretty strong support right around this general area, but there it goes. So we should see a nice little pop on DGAS that we haven't seen before. So 1670, and based on previous patterns, I think I could get it down to 311. Which means that my ideal exit would be around like 1680. There we go, a nice little push up. Again, I'm not up very much. Oh, 90. I thought I was up like $30, so 91, $100. That's not bad. But yeah, so as of right now, so TNDM is pulling back. DGAS, let's see. I have to keep a really close eye here because again, this is normally where it bounces, so maybe I should lock in profits. And the reason, so let me ask you guys this: Okay, so it's still selling off. That's good. But do you see the support, like this consolidation around this area? Can you guys help me out with this? So there's a support here. Obviously, the resistance is the SMA indicator. So why would it almost make sense? Like if you weren't under the PDT rule, why would it almost make sense? Like if there's consolidation at this support, like what is it that you can do? Like yes, it can continue to sell off, but what would be something that might be a little bit more conservative that you can do? Right, so there we go. It's starting to show signs of a potential recovery. Like why would it almost make sense to, okay, it makes sense on why to lock in profits here, right? And then to maybe buy the dip, right? Because if this thing pushes up, I can buy the dip on DGAS as it gets closer to this SMA indicator, as it's most likely going to get rejected. So DGAS is only day trading, right? I mean, you're welcome to do whatever it is that you want. I'm only going to be day trading it, and the reason why is on the 180-day analysis for natural gas. I mean, it's still showing signs of this thing being bullish, which means that DGAS is still trending down. So again, if the 180-day EMA is still pointing down, everything is pointing down. It wouldn't make much sense to swing trade something like this as of right now, right? And that's just something that we want to take into consideration. So watch out for a potential bounce off of TNDM around that middle view up. Again, just be very, very careful. Like you might want to wait for a solid bounce because, again, this thing happened yesterday where it pushed up, came back down, and then broke below the middle view up and continued to sell off. That's all I want to say. I mean, all power to you. You do everything as you please, but I've been trading TNDM and watching it almost every single day. So just something that we might want to take into consideration. And again, we're getting a lot of consolidation here on natural gas. So I might have to lock in profits because it is showing signs of it trying to peak out again. Yeah, the MACD, the RSI, everything looks good for natural gas, which means that DGAS then should start pulling back. So we'll see if we're given another chance if it still gets rejected, and if I could get a little bit closer to 311. Here we go. This is something that we cover so many times. It's like, how does a stock exceed its expectation when it comes down to its earnings, right? So it hit its earnings, but it still has a sell-off. We see this all the time, and sometimes we even see some earnings not hit expectations, but still show signs of an uptrend. So it could be either its guidance, or it could be that it was still way overpriced at that specific price point, that even though it did exceed expectations, it was not valued at that $45 per share. There's so much that can go into it, and that's why the easiest way to put it is that's why I've talked about it in the course, if you haven't completed it, on how, when something is going through earnings, why I personally don't trade it. I share my opinion. I share everything that is that I know of, like when it comes down to like why I don't hold. There's just so many different things that can both act as a positive and negative catalyst. I just find it so much easier to, hey, I'm gonna minimize my risk, lock in profits. If it has a huge sell-off, then again, I'm going to wait for the reversal, and I can capitalize on that margin. I just like keeping it super simple. So, yeah. UNG is an index, if I'm not mistaken, right? I like using futures. I don't trade based off of indexes. It's the same thing. No, it's the same thing as like to the ETF. Like the reason that I like using futures rather than indexes is indexes the ones, so UNG, right? Or no, it's another ETF, but there's a couple of people that For like Gush and Drip, I like to use /CL, but which is a future, but other people like to use an index of like SCIOSP, something like that. Regardless of what it is, I like to be able to see how it trades during extended hours. I like to see how it trades and moves in its overall direction. I find that to be much more attractive, much more realistic and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I use that. Again, that's my style. If it makes sense to you, great. I shared in the course. If it doesn't make sense to you and you like trading based off of indexes and it works much better for you, all power to you. You know, like perfect. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Do you guys see that? Sell off on natural gas, push on degas. There we go. $82. Why the heck does it do this? $258.60. That's a yeah, that wasn't anything huge, but you guys saw exactly why I bought. I explained myself before I took the position. You guys saw exactly why I sold, right? As of for /NG, we're approaching this overall support that it's had before. That was my goal. It played out according to plan. It does not always play out according to plan, right? Like plans are meant to be there to prepare us, and we can adjust it accordingly, right? If we see that there's a resistance prior to that, I was going to lock in profits at 1672, 1674. I was going to be fine with that. Obviously, it pushed up, but we need to be realistic and know that it doesn't mean that it has to 100% continue to uptrend. But I think we did a good job. $258, pretty happy with that. Halfway to my daily goal, and let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to take a position here. This is solely for the dip buy opportunity. So I'm going to wait for the break. Right now we're getting rejected by that resistance right around $37. So I'm going to watch this. And again, the margin of profit that it asks here to cover back to $38, I think that could get me to my daily goal. And that's just one trade. So I'm just going to try to be patient. I'm going to be watching JNEG. I see that it's really riding that $8 price point. But I really like the potential that this specific stock offers, the potential for recovery. Obviously, it's super oversold for a potential swing trade. And yeah, is there any questions? I want to answer like questions on /NG. Do you guys know exactly like why I took the position, like all of that stuff, right? You guys understand all that? Here we go. $36.91. No, you're lying. Oh my God, you scared me. Okay, Ricky sold, so do you guys it's going to take off, right? No. I wouldn't say that. But there, JNEG just broke above its resistance. Again, showing signs of a continuous uptrend pattern. I don't know if anyone took a position on JDSC, but that is exactly why I talked about wait for confirmation of a reversal. This thing is still trading between the middle and top view up, still showing signs of it being bullish on the day. I've made a mistake so many times of trying to predict reversals, trying to I get in a little bit too early, and that happens all the time. Trust me, and you'll make more mistakes as time goes on. I still make them, right? I made the mistake on TNDM of going in overnight with the 300 shares and opening in the red, right? It makes sense. Like, it's something that we like, but it's because I felt like TNDM and the marginal profit that it outweighed for recovery made sense. And that was, in my eyes, I took the risk, it's part of trading. As time goes on, you could focus on being a little bit more risky, but as you're just getting started, just focus on whatever's actively trending up. Just keep it simple, focus on that you can grow your account, and then as time goes on, you can try to, really play with that risk management. I think that would make a lot of sense. Yeah. So, um, Murtaza, I have a video explaining exactly how I do an analysis, even during extended hours. So if I see, again, it can still trade in between the middle and top VWAP, but if I see like a natural gas or a future altogether showing signs of an uptrend, showing signs of a downtrend, even after the market closes, it can give me an idea of what direction it's going to be heading when the market does open. So to put it into perspective, like when I see forward slash GC, again, this is where it closed. So this dashed line, this is where it closed as of yesterday, right? And ever since it closed, it was trading between the middle and top VWAP. This means that after like 4 o'clock my time, PM, this thing was trading between the middle top VWAP, middle top VWAP, middle top VWAP. So this is all showing signs of an uptrend. So if, the market were to have opened at this time, then JNEG would open up, right? Because forward slash GC is moving up, so that means that JNEG is moving up. So with that understanding, then it got rejected, right? Then it went back to where that same close price was. And then all of a sudden, as the market gets closer to opening, its momentum starts to pick up. It really starts to show signs of an uptrend, and then it really starts to take off. So it makes sense, right? If its overall direction is bullish, it makes sense on why, the thing can continue to move up. A thing that you want to take into consideration is, as this thing is pushing up, you also want to take into consideration, like, as soon as the market opens, that's the time that matters. So this is like kind of difficult for me to explain. So if this is pushing up, right, JNEG is going to open up green, but one thing that you want to also take into consideration is how overextended the push is, because it might be due for a pullback. And although you might not see that with the technicals on the future that, or the ETF that you're trading, that's what's so important. With forwards, with JNEG, I think this is a good example. You cannot see or make sense that this is super overextended. Right? I mean, it looks like it's actively trending up. It looks like it can continue to actively trend up. But if you look at forward slash GC and see how overextended it is, it might be due for a solid pullback. And that's kind of like, wow, like, I might want to look out for this. But it's only because you're looking at the future that you're able to identify that. So that's why I find it to be so attractive. I'm sorry if that's like pretty repetitive for all those that have completed the course. I just wanted to explain it very briefly. Oh, 100%. I definitely took my position too early on TNDM. I went in with 300 or 400 shares. I normally trade with 700 shares with TNDM. So I'm in right now with about a 50% position, and then I can add more when it gets the confirmation, or cut losses if it continues to sell off. So yeah, I said that before I took my position, that I'm getting in before the confirmation. Ricky, do you scan for any good day trading opportunities? I don't scan for stocks anymore. I mean, what would be the purpose of this, Aaron? Solid, Aaron. Super happy to hear about your green day. Yeah, that's definitely something that you can look into. It's something that I personally have never practiced myself, Maxi. But yeah, if you like the high yield dividend stocks while paper trading, 100% something that you can look into. And if it's something that you find success in, then all power to you. I'd love to hear more about your progress and how that goes for you. Look at DGAS. DGAS still showing signs again. It became overextended, locked in profits, right? Sold off. It's showing signs of a potential bounce around this area and why it can and try to recover. So something we might want to look at and keep. Oh, there we go. Rejection off of that EMA line. The MACD completely broke its pattern. The RSI completely broke its direction. No, I haven't, Chase. Let's see. Okay, DGAS still selling off, right? We see that looking at /NG. Do you guys see this peak formation, right? On /NG getting rejected close to or near to that SMA indicator. So something that we want to take into consideration. So I'm going to, and again, this is what I want to do. It doesn't mean that you have to follow as well, but I make it 100% still continuously get rejected. Yeah, TNDM still selling off. Overall supports lows of $36. So looking at /NG once again, getting very close to that SMA indicator. Showing signs of the MACD being a little bit overextended. RSI showing signs of it being peaked out. So I'm going to set my alert for the potential break here. No, there's PDX summer. So TNDM showing no signs of a reversal on the 180-day SMA. So yeah, when it comes down to TNDM and the overall direction that it's currently moving, yes, I do see that it's signs of a downtrend, but I was doing more of a dip buy. So again, that's why I took a smaller position. And yes, it is still selling off, but I was just waiting to get my initial position, and then when it starts to show signs of a confirmation, I can add the remaining position, or the remaining shares. So it's something that I talked about before I took the position, that yeah, there was no signs of a reversal just yet. Yeah, so Vanquish Wolf, like streaming longer just wouldn't be necessarily an option with my daily tasks that I have, like that I have to do or that I have going on. So usually it's 45 minutes to about an hour that I trade live, and yeah, I mean that's really just it. So if there's trades that I'm taking that are longer, that I could stream because I'm just going to be actively trading, then of course. But other than that, it just wouldn't make much sense. So, what do you mean by that? So, how can I expand my view on the chart like yours on about DGAS? What do you mean? What is it that, what are you talking about, like the bigger time frames, or? Oh, that's a good call out. So let's check it out. Yep. So overall, JNEG has struggled to break and hold above that SMA indicator. So this could be a good indication on why we might want to lock in profits for JNEG. It makes sense based on previous patterns. So there we go. TNDM again selling off. Everything is really small. Yeah, I'm not too sure if you have a specific setup. I'm on the 1-day 1-minute chart. I've showed you exactly how I set up my TOS. You could hold this and then move this if it's too small, right? You can go like up and down. So yeah. Yep, there's a video in the course about the SMA indicator. Of course, of course. Yeah, I got the alert that LABD is pushing up, right? So I think that's when we were trading it. So 180-day analysis, this one still was the one that was showing signs of a descending pattern. It's kind of starting a flat line, so it's showing more signs of a horizontal pattern. Based on previous patterns, being able to identify the highs and the lows, it's safe to say that it's overbought, so it would make sense on why we might want to lock in profits. On the day, on the 1-day 1-minute chart, yeah, I mean, it shows signs of it being overextended. There's no question about that. So yes, it can continue to rally, but it also makes sense on why we would want to lock in profits. So yeah, there's no question about that. So I would consider the idea of locking in profits and, looking for the soon to be reversal based on previous patterns. And that's all I could trade off of. All right. TNDM with a nice little bounce, but again, it's been getting rejected by this EMA indicator. So just watch out for that. PG, pretty much trading between the middle and top VWAP, doing really nice, bounce in between the middle and top VWAP, showing signs of an uptrend on the day. Over 180-day analysis showing signs of an uptrend with a slight resistance right around $84, and an up and coming earnings report on. Oh no, this is still a while away. Yeah, 10/19. There we go. RSI. It's looking good for natural gas. Yeah, Mason, one thing that I would also explore is, or Mason, let me know if you're using Robinhood, since you don't have to worry about commissions and you're not really focused too much on like the dollar value right now. I would focus more on right now you have to like build your confidence and just reassure yourself that you understand what you're doing. So I would still focus on like making sure that the stock meets certain criteria. But if you see a stock that's actively trending up and that you find attractive, then to take maybe or buy one share. And the reason that I say that with Robinhood, that it would make sense on why you can then just buy one share. And again, you're not focused on making the money. You're just focused on, reassuring yourself that you know how to take a position, and that you know how to take, these swing trades and stuff like that to rebuild your confidence. So I think that could be an approach. I talked about this specific kind of like concept in like a video that I made in the past 2 days. So it's just something that I would take into consideration for any of those that are struggling to stay to stay green, to consider the idea of, just buying one share, proving to yourself, and again, still making sure that it meets all your criteria, and then again, completely removing the factor of being invested because of the dollar value and the potential for profit, and being more invested in like reassuring yourself that you know how to trade and stuff like that. So, and again, if it's one share, less emotions would come into play. So /NG with a nice little pop. RSI looking a little bit overextended. The MACD again looking a little bit overextended. So I'm just trying to be patient for the reversal on this and see how it goes. So yes, I'm using Robinhood. Yeah. And again, as you're just getting started, you're going to make mistakes, and I think that's inevitable, right? But as long as you understand how to, manage them along the way, then I think that that's what matters. And just setting up certain precautions. So, in the very beginning, you might have been trading with a little bit more money. So maybe taking a step back and trading with less money and focusing more on just proving to yourself that you know how to do the technicals and take the positions from that, then I think that would make a lot of sense. I never struggled to stay around. LOL. All right, there it goes. Yeah, natural gas is definitely pushing up. TNDM with a nice little push up. So I think it should be above the 1 day, 1 minute EMA now. I wouldn't call it a reversal in TNDM though. And again, what is it that I'm waiting for? And I can be completely wrong, but what is it that I'm waiting for? Can you guys explain to me? Like, I'm in degas, right? And natural gas is the one that's showing signs of an uptrend. But why? What is it that is giving me the understanding that natural gas might be due for a pullback, right? And we can look at you guys as well, as that would make sense. But what is it like that is showing me signs of, okay, a pullback might be due, right? So instead of, I don't know if any of you guys have ever done this, but sometimes we like cut losses way too early, right? But what is it about the specific position that I would feel okay to like hold it for maybe a little bit longer, because I think that a pullback might be in the near future. The bounce off the middle VWAP, MACD is overextended in RSI. Yep, 100% has a resistance, so overextended pullback likely. And it just has to do, and again, it's still extremely bullish on the day, and it can 100% continue to push up. But just based on previous patterns, when it becomes a little bit overextended with the RSI and the MACD, it makes sense on why it can pull back, right? And instead of me natural gas being at the overall highs right now and degas being at the overall lows, instead of me cutting losses at the very bottom, I could try to wait for a pullback. And even if I end up having to cut losses at around this area here, the overall loss that I would have experienced would have been much less, right? So just wanted to explain that to you guys. It doesn't matter that you guys don't have to follow anything that I'm doing. I just wanted to explain like my thought process, why I'm doing what I'm doing, for all those that were asking. So. It's raining pretty hard outside. $180 overbought. Yep, that could also be a reason for a swing trade, but not necessarily too much for my day trade, right? The day trade is, I think, a little bit less influenced on that, since natural gas is still very bullish on the 180-day chart. So although it is very overextended, it is due for a pullback, but no signs of a pullback just yet. James, nice. Yep. So JNEG is still moving up. DGAS still with that nice little pullback. TNDM, watch out with this. We're getting some consolidation within this general area of 36.85 to 36.60. Since it's such a descending pattern, it can continue to descend. So if you see that it starts to sell off and the MACD starts to sell off and the RSI starts to point down, I wouldn't hesitate to cut losses. No, yeah, I mean, definitely in the morning I am a little bit more tired than usual, but it's all good. We're still hyped. I think it's just my voice that sounds a little different, right? Oh, I like that. Yeah, that would be nice. When I was trading in the East Coast and in Europe, having to trade at 9 o'clock or like at 1 p.m., it's so different. Um, I feel like I'm given so much more time to prepare and stuff like that. But also by this being like the first thing that I get done in the morning, it also makes it a little bit easier for me to, stay productive throughout the day. Just because that's kind of how my entire days are set up. So watch out with this resistance around this middle VWAP for TNDM. So slight little resistance that we might experience. The MACD is starting to reach a little bit more of signs of it being overextended. So just something that we might want to consider. Ah, I thought it broke below, but it broke above. Dingleberry. All right, nice little push up. Okay, yeah, looks like it's getting rejected by that resistance around $37. Oh, so again, we can see the MACD really starting to not pick up much more. That really slight resistance right around $37 in this middle VWAP, right? Overall descending SMA, so its direction is still moving down, something that we might want to take into consideration. So there it goes. The ask is going down. There goes the MACD, and there goes the RSI. There we go. Pull back. Diaz is definitely pushing down. Yep, still showing signs of an uptrend. Holy moly, that is a rejection. I mean, a push up, right? But a rejection for DGAS. There we go. DGAS back off to that bottom VWAP indicator. Oh man, this volatility is ridiculous. All right. It's been one heck of a day. Oh, my expansion area. Okay, so that's what you guys mean, that I can see a little bit more. So like for like Diaz, that I could see a little bit more, right? It's because my expansion area is set up for more. So on setup, no, it's under settings. We go here to appearance. No, equities, favorite time frame, time axis. You go to expansion area. It's set at 100, so it lets me see a little bit more. But yeah, so sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, guys. So today's been pretty funny. Definitely not the best day. Really struggling to, um, what's it called? Focus on whatever's actively trending up. Maybe I'm trying to predict the reversals a little bit too much. But again, DGAS as of right now is selling off. I'll keep you guys up to date with my overall position. As of right now, I mean, I was up 258. Now we're down on the day 294. So, or $300 as of right now. So pretty much have given a good amount of it back. We'll see if there's any more dip buy opportunities for DGAS, and then we can kind of go from there. So thank you guys again for tuning in. I think we just hit that 1 hour mark on the stream. But yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date. I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple. It looks like DGAS might be bouncing right now. So we'll see how it plays out, and wish you guys the best. I'll try to catch up on direct messages right now. I just want to focus a little bit more on my trades and see if I can do something that might be a little bit better. But wish you guys an amazing Tuesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy, team.